$2 billion sale of the Los Angeles Clippers hangs in the balance. The trial to decide whether Donald Sterling's wife had the authority to sell the team starts today. To break down the case, we're joined by Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano and Fox News' Harris Faulkner. What a group, guys. Judge, I want to start with you first. First day in court, what do you expect?
Well, this is a trial today over whether or not Mr. Sterling effectively dissolved the trust he had, capital T trust, not lowercase t, since he doesn't have that anymore, with his wife. Apparently, their shares of the Clippers are held in a trust. And this is what's called a revocable trust, meaning either party can break the trust at any time they want. When Mr. Sterling learned that his wife was negotiating to sell the team, he decided to break the trust. If his revocation of the trust was valid, then she does not have a deal with Steve Ballmer because she doesn't have the authority to speak for the entity that owns the Clippers. And we're either back to square one or it's in the court of the NBA. If his revocation of the trust was not valid because he wasn't mentally competent at the time he revoked the trust, then the sale to Ballmer will probably go forward, and against his will, he will experience an increase in wealth of about $1 billion before taxes.
Interesting. So time kills all deals. An important deadline to point out. The deal is set to expire, Harris, July 15th. It's the same day that the NBA owners sit down together. If the deal expires, I guess one could assume that the team itself then would go to the NBA.
Not necessarily. The NBA can seize it and they can try to sell it off, which is something we were talking off camera about. But I think that there are two things to note here. One is that the trust rules were met. In terms of calling him incompetent or someone who's incapacitated, if you will. And that's how the wife kind of went around and was able to sell the team. She had to meet the rules of this trust by getting two doctors to look at him mentally, to study his brain.
Well,
and he volunteered
has every opportunity to challenge what those
Sure, and he could get it done again,
said.
absolutely.
Correct.
But she did meet the trust rule, so I just am pointing that out. The other thing, too, that I think is interesting about this case is that this case started a long time ago with some racist remarks he said on tape. And there are a lot of people, and I think probably the judge here as well, who would agree that those remarks were private. And that tape was released unbeknownst, I believe, to either party. She didn't release the tape. A third party released the tape. But there was this recording. And so now the big question to me is, do you go down a road like this, stripping somebody of their billion-dollar company over some remarks that he made to a girlfriend? I mean, I really think it comes down to that.
That issue will only be reached if the revocation of the trust was valid. If the revocation of the trust
There's no reason it wouldn't be, right?
Well, if the revocation of the trust would be valid if it were made by a competent person. If it were made by an incompetent person, it would be invalid. So if Mrs. Sterling sells to Ballmer, then the issue of the privacy of that conversation is never reached. They just experience their $1 billion increase in wealth after
and then
they pay their taxes, and this is over with. But if the revocation of the trust was valid and he doesn't want to sell, then he's in a legal contest with the NBA. Then the issue of the who, what, where, when, how, and why of the tape comes into of the conversation with his former friend comes into play.
So Shelley, his wife of 59 years, he's going to be litigating against her in court today. The determination is whether or not she legally sold the team to Steve Ballmer, but you're saying it's all going to be pinned on this psychoanalysis on whether or not he was in the right state of mind.
He was
when he revoked the trust, because if he revoked the trust, then she does not have the authority to sell that team to Ballmer. I don't think this guy objects to the amount of money. My God, this is worth 3 times what anybody thought it was worth. He objects to selling an asset, as any of us might, that he prefers to keep, that he purchased and acquired and nurtured, because he only wants to sell when he wants to sell. He doesn't want to be forced to sell.
Okay, what about Steve Ballmer? Because what the wife is arguing is, Sandra, if he doesn't let me sell this team the way that I promised that I was going to sell this team, I'm going to get sued. This is Shelley Sterling's argument. I don't know if that will hold up. I don't know if there's a judge around who will say, well, that's a good enough deal. That's a good enough reason for us to protect this deal to sell the team.
The Ballmer deal may expire July 15th. But
everything happens on the 15th.
He really wants the team. and the NBA would prefer that he has the team, I'm sure that they can exercise an amendment to their agreement which would extend the time period for him to take title beyond July 15th.
September 15th is the next drop-dead date.
Yes.
Because if the deal isn't closed,
nothing's really drop dead when the NBA wants the team in Steve Ballmer's hands.
Right.
This is not.
Before the next season begins,
This is not President Obama changing the law to make Obamacare more palatable.
How did we get there?
How did we go there?
We always get there.
This is a private people all trying to, except for Donald, all trying to accomplish the same thing. They can easily move the deadline.
No chance they'll give it to you, the team, Judge?
No, I wouldn't take it.
He wouldn't take it. He wouldn't take it. Doesn't have time. I mean, Judge, thank you.
You're welcome.
Excellent stuff, guys.